Hello, this is Harry Paden. This is Paden's Pulpit. This is Season 2, Episode 33. Season 2, Episode 33. Today's subject, Buffalo Soldiers. Today's subject, Buffalo Soldiers. Okay, recently, a couple of days ago, PBS, Public Broadcasting System, Channel 13, WNET, had another great show. Though I am quite the historian and know quite a bit, I always watch it because I want to learn. I want to, see if there's something, if I know it already, good. But this particular show was on Black Cowboys. Not Black Cowboys, but Black Cowboys in a sense, but Buffalo Soldiers. That's the true essence of the show. And it was called Buffalo Soldiers Fighting on Two Fronts. You can, go onto their website, Buffalo Soldiers Fighting on Two Fronts. And by that, it simply means they were fighting as soldiers, but then of course when they come back to their homes and the neighborhoods and the communities, some people in that community, namely whites, mistreated them. They mistreated them as soldiers. America has a sad history that America wants to hide, but Harry Paden, revisionist historian, which means I revision what I was taught, what you were taught, and I give you the facts. I always tell people, check my facts, and then if I'm wrong, put it out there. You don't know what you're talking about, you're wrong. I have never been, so saluted, so hopefully I'll continue. Indigenous natives, that's what I call, some call them Indians, some call them Native Americans. They were not Indians because they were not from India. They were not Native Americans because America was not America when they were there. They're indigenous natives. They inhabited this land before any of the colonials came. But indigenous natives called them Buffalo Soldiers. Many say they called them Buffalo Soldiers because of their hair, was similar to the hair on the majestic buffalo. But here's a fact that I found out. The prevailing myth is they call them that because they say their hair looks like buffalo. Okay, maybe they did. But over time, a more likely explanation has emerged. The Comanche, most of us have heard of that mighty group. The Comanche Native Americans Christians the group in 1871 based on the reverence for the buffalo. The Indians loved the buffalo and an abiding respect for the soldiers' peerless bravery. In other words, they were called Buffalo Soldiers because to the Indians, they remind them of their majestic buffalo. See, you can always learn something new. Certainly their hair, high hair, looks like wool. But the truth of the matter is the Indians gave them that because they equated them to the mighty buffalo. History, American history, conveniently leaves out the achievements of Buffalo Soldiers, such as their fighting in Cuba and in the Spanish-American War. As a matter of fact, American history records Teddy Roosevelt. He led the charge up the San Juan Hill. In reality, the truth, Buffalo Soldier George Barry of the 10th Cavalry planted the victory flag, signifying the U.S. victory. The Buffalo Soldiers secured that land. Then Teddy, as a lot of political type stew, stood up for the picture of Teddy Roosevelt Yeah, Teddy was back there. Is everything clear, Durham? All due respect, great man. But the truth is the truth. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Young, a Buffalo soldier, was the first black graduate of West Point. In a 20-year period from 1870 to 1890, 20 Buffalo soldiers earned the military's highest accolade, the Medal of Honor. Now, it is important to note that these accolades came much later. During the time, they didn't reward them like that. They were just blacks who could fight. But they didn't reward them. It took years and years. Finally, America gets embarrassed and they started awarding, rightfully so, those who were brave. Buffalo soldiers, again, fact. Buffalo soldiers were used extensively in indigenous native removal from the lands as America expanded via colonization. In other words, they used the Buffalo soldiers, hey, get out, this is America's land. They used them for that dirty work. They were good at it. So that's why the native indigenous had a love-hate relationship, because many times it was the Buffalo soldiers who were the ones to get them out, because they were such great fighters. They overcame many of the powerful indigenous natives. After displaying unrivaled fearlessness in what was called the Indian Wars, the Buffalo soldiers joined General John Pershing's quest for Mexican freedom fighter against Mexican freedom fighter Pancho Villa. In 20 years, Moses William Sargent was instrumental in the expansion of America. He was a black Buffalo soldier. Buffalo soldiers, fact, had the lowest rates of military desertion and court-martials of their time, and at least 18 were awarded various medals for their bravery and for their service during the Indian campaigns alone. That's according to the National Archives. Also, fact, Kathy Williams, spelled Cathay Williams, is the only woman known to serve with that heraldry group. She dressed up as a man because, of course, they didn't want women. Women can't fight, kind of stuff. But she, dressed up as a man or portrayed a man and fought in that war bravely until she was found out. She got sick. The doctors examined her. And they found out she was a woman. Living history. Mark Matthews, the last surviving Buffalo soldier, died at 111 years old in 2005. The Buffalo soldiers, brave. They were unheralded, and I know the TBS special, many of you didn't watch it. Many of you, you ain't watched it, but it's still you, are watching this information about relevant black history. But unfortunately, that's why our history continues to go unknown. We continue to say, they won't teach us. Come on, do you know how that sounds? They won't teach us our history. Well, Harry Paden, whether it's an audience of 1 or audience of 0, will continue to bring the facts. And Paden, how do you know so much? What because I watch specials like PBS. Excuse me, I gotta do this. Because I have an extensive library. The Black West, the Black Cowboys, the Black Cowboys, the Black Cowboys, the Black West, Buffalo Soldiers. This is how I know. So I can go right online. But these books. So hopefully, Sorry about that. Hopefully, we will one day get a yearning to learn about ourselves because, again, I know more than the average person, more than many historians, but I still learn something new every day. Buffalo soldiers, unheralded heroes. Do some of your own research. You'll be surprised. And you can proudly stand in adversity when some of the colonials try to tell you that we as black people are less than. Oh, to God be the glory. Do your history, know your history. They are not going to teach you your history.